King of Podcasts proudly presents the Wrestling is Real podcast because wrestling needs us. Brought to you by KingofAmazon.com. Go to KingofAmazon.com when you do your shopping for Amazon to help the King of Podcasts. Shop for Amazon at KingofAmazon.com.
Welcome to episode 545 of the Wrestling is Real podcast. KOP here with you. Thank you for checking out the show, listening in as you always do. Now, before I get started, remember, you can always help out this show and support it as best as possible. For all of you that have stuck with me for all these episodes, for all these years, I hope you will consider, not I hope you consider, do it, man. Just do it. Donate to yours truly, paypal.me/King of Podcasts. Or go to the website, wrestlingisreal.com. You'll see a button for cryptocurrency. I'll take any kind of cryptocurrency you want, Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Pick it. I don't accept Dogecoin. I don't think I can accept. But I'll take any of the other ones that'll be really helpful. Or you can also do one of the best things possible. Please go ahead and go through my special Amazon link, KingofAmazon.com. That's KingofAmazon.com. If you're all panic porn to what the pandemic going on and you feel the need to get some masks, trust me, you can get masks. You need to get some hand sanitizer, you can get hand sanitizer. If you need whatever, you know, there's a lot of different things I could buy, and I'll tell you, I bought a few things around the house that I needed to get, and it's nice to do. Let me tell you, one thing I've been trying to do right now more than anything else to try to get myself making some extra money has been stock market and investing. Haven't done too bad. 57% returns on what I've invested so far in the last 3 months, which has been not bad. I can't complain too much. 3.5 months, if you will. So that's okay. And I'm hoping to go ahead and put a little bit more away as I go along. Uber's coming back up, so I can start doing that again. A few of the things. It's nice. It's nice to go and be able to make money again, even with the pandemic going on, and taking advantage of it. But more than anything else, so I don't have to go running around doing Uber, doing stock market, and putting my money up to go ahead and lose it again, all that kind of stuff. I would really love your help so I can do more to the show. I was actually thinking of buying a trademark for King of Podcasts, but man, it's just so damn much money to do that, or else I would have already done it. So I could really use help on that. I could use help on getting a new website so I can get the Wrestling is Real website probably built out on another WordPress site, get it hosted properly on both sites. Actually, you know, they're my broadcasters podcast too. You know, add some extra equipment to do the video stuff so I can do more things with it. I could really use your help. So again, KingofAmazon.com, so you can buy through Amazon through my special link. Just buy what you buy on Amazon. Just go through King of Amazon. That's all you got to do. And then that way I get a commission off of what you pay for. I don't have to know what you're going to buy. Just buy as much as you want on Amazon, but go through KingofAmazon.com. Or use cryptocurrency, donate that way, or hit me on with a PayPal. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Meantime, let's move along. We got previews and predictions tonight for Impact Wrestling Slammiversary coming up this Saturday, and WWE Extreme Rules, the horror show, on Sunday. It's nice to have a wrestling weekend. We're going to have a packed weekend. Like, you know, we had ended with WrestleMania, of course, you know, when they always have a takeover following along with the Survivor Series or, you know, with the Big Four, right? Which is nice. But to have this weekend like this where we had a setup, we haven't had a Ring of Honor pay-per-view in a while, so unfortunately we missed the 17th or 18th anniversary, right? We haven't had Best in the World. Those would have been pay-per-views we would have already had. The good thing is Impact Wrestling hasn't slowed down on that. They're at least giving us pay-per-views. That hasn't left out at all, which is nice. So we're here. We're doing more episodes of Impact Wrestling. They've been doing them from, studios in Nashville, Tennessee. So they've been continuing to tape as they've needed to, which is nice. I think it's Skyway Studios. And they're going to be doing the same venue as they've been doing previously. They're going to be doing all these shows from there. Well, I guess with no crowd, it looks like. I'm not sure if they're going to have a crowd or not. But we'll have that going on. It's a pretty good pay-per-view we got coming up this weekend. I don't get to talk about it that much. And I'll tell you, I watched a lot of Impact Wrestling in the last few weeks to catch up. Because I still catch up on the show. My thing has just been tough to do Tuesday nights because, you know, it's just other things going on. I got other work I got to take care of, so I don't get to watch it then. I usually just put it on the download and just go and fall back up. Now, I didn't get to catch the episode, the Go Home show for this Tuesday, but I'm caught up all the way to last week. and I caught up on 4 episodes last week. So it's not. I like also the fact that I can watch that show because it is pretty packed with a lot of stuff to watch. Because they have a lot of vignettes, a lot of backstage stuff. So it keeps it busy. It's a busy show. I like that. And so I watched that show, and then that's a good one just to kind of keep in the background. I can watch and follow along on the weekends, especially when I have nothing else to watch. That's a good spot to go and have that. Because usually I would have my MLW I would have been watching lately. But, of course, they ran out of shows back in April. So, unfortunately, they're doing the anthology. They went with that for a while. Now they're going to start showing their old show again that they had on Sunshine Network and other places. The old Underground show, they're going to start running those now. NWA doesn't have any content because Dave Lagana decided to be caught up in speaking out. So we're losing content here. And I haven't watched AEW Dark in a bit. So some of the TV I had for wrestling has been out. No Ring of Honor. We have no MLW. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we don't have. And among other things, I also have the YouTube channel, and I put my content up there as well. If you want to catch it yourself, subscribe, please. Hit the notification bell, like any of the videos that you do like. Please comment. Feel free to go ahead and jump in and involve yourself there. The YouTube link is available on WrestlingIsReal.com or YouTube.com/JBRASCO951. That's where you find it. So there's a lot of places you can go to right there. In the meantime, what I have is, I see a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of people that I would watch on YouTube, but we're getting a lot of censorship stuff. So there's a bunch of people that are getting canceled out on YouTube for whatever reason. It's very interesting where all that's happening. So, I don't know why there's been a purge of YouTube creators, but that's going on. I see a lot of different people that I watch, and it's not just some political thing. It's a lot of people from a lot of different areas. That YouTube had a thing where they were just like, if this channel isn't monetized and there's all this content, then people are going to get kicked out. I hope that doesn't happen to me, but I haven't really thought about it that much. I don't have a big subscriber base. Nor do I have a big subscriber base for this show. I mean, I've done it for a long time, and I know I got a few thousand people that listen to this show, and I'm glad that you do. You hear my pandering and my rants and raves here on a regular basis. I'm running without a script. I just go along and just talk through for 45 minutes to an hour just to go through what's going on, what I enjoy about wrestling, because you are the people I talk to about wrestling. Who else do I have to talk to? Chuck I could talk to, but you know what? He's busy. He's got a kid on the way. So he's, got a lot of things going on. So he's no longer a bachelor. He is a married man with a kid on the way. So he's off and doing a thing. And, everybody else that I've had on this show has also kind of moved along and they're doing their own things. It's just gotten every busy. And more or less everybody's getting together. They got hooked up before the pandemic, I guess. So what can you say, right? Me, I haven't worried about it. Like I said, I've been occupied with more content. If you catch the YouTube channel, I put more content up on a regular basis. One of the things I'll point out that I did was When I'm Not Podcasting series, which is a podcast that I do aside alone that's besides what I talk about here. It's a good podcast if you want to check it out. Because what happens there is I talk about everything that is not wrestling related. Or I do put some wrestling related stuff there. Like when Tessa Blanchard got fired, I did put up some comments about that. I also did some comments about the AEW WWE ratings war, the Wednesday night war of ratings and how people handle it on Twitter. I talked about that and just put that up as a recent episode. It's on the When I'm Not Podcasting series, which you can find. Of course, you can look for it. I'll probably put a link on the Wrestling Is Real website, but if you just do a search, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, everywhere you look for podcasts, do a search for When I'm Not Podcasting. That is my show, and that's a show that talks about everything. So if I want to talk about, the issues with adult entertainment and porn, I talk about it. Like OnlyFans and people all the things that, young guys and girls are doing on the internet right now to, try to make some extra money, subscriptions, sugar daddies, things like that. I talk about it all the time. I also talk about a lot of things when it comes to television, the media. I'll talk about journalism. I'll talk about sports. I'll talk about, investments, things like that. Whatever else is on my mind that is other things that I would do when I'm not podcasting. It's what I like to go and talk about. It's just a hodgepodge, a big water cooler full of topics that I think you would all like if you're like-minded like me. So check it out for yourself. Please go and subscribe to the show. Check out all the episodes. I put up short mini episodes, 5, 10, 15 minutes at a time, daily now. I've been doing it daily since March. So there's a whole lot of episodes to check out. There's over 100 I've already done so far. Check it out for yourself. Tell me what you think and enjoy it. There's a lot of different ways to support the show. A lot of different ways to support yours truly. So anyway, Extreme Rules and Slammiversary coming up this weekend. We'll start with Extreme Rules and talk about what's been going on with WWE. So it's been interesting where the ratings have been struggling right now for Raw. 1.5 million viewers. When the show actually was, it was a pedestrian show. It was a show that I usually would expect. But it's really unfortunate that their ratings are tanking right now on Raw. They're going through a lot of different changes and going ahead and making changes with the existing staff that they had on that they were hoping to get more people involved and actually caught into. When you saw Andrade and Angel Garza together. They're still together, but they're usually on the losing end of matches as opposed to the winning end. No more Humberto Carrillo going to deal with. And then you have a lot of Sasha Banks and Bayley. You got a lot of Seth Rollins. And a lot of veterans now. Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre now. You got Dolph Ziggler, being made relevant again. Big Show being made relevant again. Randy Orton being heated up again. Rey Mysterio being brought into the mix. It's like you could just see there's a couple of things that were kept together, and there's a few things where you could just see a lot of older stars being put to the top because old school wrestling booking is in effect. And the chance for certain stars to get really pushed up to the top, it's something that you see more on SmackDown, I believe, than you would see on Raw. That's how I feel like when I look at both shows at the moment. But this week was the fourth straight week that Raw went down on the ratings. 1.935 to 1.922 to 1.735 to 1.686 to 1.532, I think it is, that Brian Alvarez tweeted yesterday. Not good. In terms of NXT and AEW, ratings are what they are. I think AEW actually will pull a better rating this time around. If I had to guess, I'm going to guess it's NXT will keep the same crowd they have, right around 750,000. And I think AEW will sneak out probably with about 800,000 viewers. That's about it. I think Chris Jericho on the show this week, using the demo god and pulling, talking about the demo being more important than the overall viewers and ragging on the ratings, which I know this is just going to go viral. I think, that's Jericho just playing to the base audience of people that watch both shows. They know, they get it. It plays perfect to the Wednesday Night Wars. So for that to be said, that's interesting. And also a way to kind of keep things interesting with the Orange Cassidy thing, which was good. I just thought about the fact that the inner circle of getting doused with orange juice, at least it went out correctly, because I could imagine it could have gone back to the New Blood and the Millionaires Club, the 2000 angle that happened with WCW, which I thought was off to a good start, but then I remember a couple times the blood dropped, and I remember Kevin Nash still in one particular episode of Thunder where it completely missed him and only got part of his shoulder, but it missed the rest of him. And I remember they had to cut away from the shot because it was a tape show. Not good. But other than that, Nyla Rose now getting Vicky Guerrero as a manager. Sure. It's like a rehash. WWE fans will say, "Oh, look what they're doing. They're just kind of just using this." But again, what AEW is doing right now with these veteran managers is what I actually thought should have been done in WWE. But the thing is, I want to see if AEW it will work for them. But I like the idea. Listen, Ric Flair kind of working along with Randy Orton right now, not bad. MVP working alongside Bobby Lashley, I like that. And a couple of managers here and there is good. I actually like some of that. It's helpful. And I think for the most part, I like the idea of where you have AEW trying to build up new stars, but they are taking on managers. They're not afraid of having managers for the sake of managers, and they're trying to use them properly. So Jake Roberts with Lance Archer, Vicky Guerrero now with Lionel Rose, Tully Blanchard with Shawn Spears, and now Taz with Brian Cage. I like all that. I think it's a pretty well set thing. I actually like the idea of the managers being put together. That's not a bad idea. Just don't bring back Jim Cornette to go ahead and manage STR or something like that. Something crazy. Don't do that, please. Just saying. So, AEW has a couple of factions. The Dark Order has not panned out the way it should be. Inner Circle is a good group. I've enjoyed that. The Elite, good. Adam Page now kind of frolicking with the Revival. We don't know what they're going to be as a big disruptor of the Elite anyway. Cody giving a lot of wrestlers chances on the TNT title picture. I like he is helping to elevate some people over. Sonny Kiss being put into a good spot. You had Jungle Boy also go after that title. I mean, I like some of those matches. I really like the TNT title being pushed out there. And Cody being pushed to the test. I like the fact that they're getting him good matches. They're not quick swashes. And, they're trying to build stars. Darby Allin getting a return like that. AEW, they're not blowing it up. But within the audience that they have right now, the existing, 700,000-800,000 viewers that they normally get, their base audience is consistent. Remember, the only time they really had a real big drop-off of audience was, 2 weeks ago, 600,000. But they get a couple of drop-offs like that where they get significant drop-offs. But then there's other reasons. I guess there's other underlying factors as to why. But for the most part, they struggled a bit, and they have brought their audience back up. Obviously, the pandemic took a hit to a lot of people. But things got built back up. Like, May was a good month for them. And, it's a little bit of fluctuation, but it's been pretty consistent. Averaging about 750,000 viewers, which is good. 18 to 49 is pretty consistent, top 10. That's good for them. NXT dominates 50 plus. But the thing is with WWE right now as well, is that they do need to build a younger audience. And I don't think there's anything they have right now. In particular, I don't think on the men's side, do they have anybody that really draws younger viewers. I don't know if there is. On Raw, listen, you can go back to Rey Mysterio over and over again. Drew McIntyre, sure. I think there are a lot of women that probably really enjoy Bayley and Sasha Banks. A lot of young kids that probably do love both of them on TV. Same thing with Asuka. Same thing with, Kairi Sane. I can see that. So some of the women are definitely an advantage for the younger viewers, I would imagine. Other than that, who else is a real draw that really taps in? Is Matt Riddle somebody that really taps into that audience? Is it what NXT has that really taps into that audience? Because with NXT I feel like NXT, I feel like the audience is a bunch. It's really comprised of many people that were just holdovers of the Monday Night Wars, ECW, and they have been true to WWE for a long time. And maybe there's some people that are just really indie-rific, fans that probably will dabble around with Ring of Honor, MLW, NWA, others, Impact Wrestling, and then independents along their own area. I can imagine that be something important, but that's pretty much it. I guess there's not a lot that's been said about the independents either, except for speaking out. A lot of wrestling organizations, man, there's a lot of wrestlers that are out of work. I really haven't thought about it too much, but I know some have tried to work their way around, trying to find things to do. I follow Selena De La Renta, and I see she's doing a lot of work, doing a lot of photo shoots, doing a lot of things on her own campaigns, working as an Instagram influencer, TikTok stuff. A lot of social media, a lot of engagement out there. For some of the wrestlers that are out there, they're trying to do something. Brandy Lawrence out there, who's part of Evolve, and there's a bunch of other girls I see out there doing things. And as for the guys, same thing. It's like, what else can you do to kind of keep things built up and keep people interested while we're waiting to get things back? Because at the moment, there is news of vaccines. Throughout the day, watching CNBC, watching Moderna now have a new vaccine that is going to be brought into phase 3 trials. So 40,000 people are going to get tested on it to see how it does. If it creates antibodies, if it actually helps out to build something up. Then there's another London research where there's another trial of a vaccine that actually is being very effective, which the vaccine can be launched as early as September, and they got to deal with AstraZeneca. Like, there's vaccines. If the people are waiting for vaccines to get here, to start having to have something. Look, if people need vaccines to be the thing that will keep people at bay and say, guess what? Okay, we can go ahead and start doing things. We can now let the kids go back to school. We can now have crowds and stadiums for live shows, for wrestling shows, for sporting events, for concerts, for festivals, whatever you want. If this is the thing that will get people back up and not wear masks and not have to socially distance, and people could just say, okay, you know what? If I get sick, I go get a vaccine shot, or if I want to avoid getting sick, I get a vaccine shot. I move along. And if we have therapeutics that will help take care of things, even better. If that's what it's going to take for people to start feeling like, okay, you know what? We can move along with ourselves. I'll follow the stock market. Stock market gives you a real gauge of what real life is like. People have hope. And so things were doing really well. When I look at the investments and stuff that I have in my portfolio, great stuff. But my thing is, more importantly, is that the normalcy has to come back for wrestling to come back at its full spectrum. But the one thing that's got to happen is this has been a time, more than anything, for AEW and WWE to kind of recreate themselves or experiment with some things that might have worked. And I think that's exactly happened with a couple of these companies. The cinematic part, which has caught on, specifically for WWE and Impact Wrestling and AEW, those three organizations have taken on the cinematic role. Now, maybe not so much cinematic as they have been gimmicks. So AEW has done gimmick matches. They did have the empty arena match. They did have the stadium match. Few different things they were doing there. You also have to say about the with WWE. There's a lot of things they've been doing right now. They're going to have the Wyatt Swamp match. They're going to have the Eye for an Eye match. They're going to have, interesting things they're going to be putting together. When they did the Money in the Bank this year, great idea to put it together up on the roof of the corporate Titan Towers. To have, the Boneyard match, the Firefly Funhouse match, right? Cinematic, we already see for WWE is effectively working. That's not even a question. That is their bread and butter. They're putting one of those matches in every pay-per-view. It's working. It's absolutely working. It's smart. And people are talking about it. Every time they do one of these matches, it's a talk about, which is good. And the way they can do it with the issues they have dealing with right now with matches. Greatest wrestling match, the greatest wrestling match of the world, the greatest show, right? That was good too. All that was very good. So there's been a lot of good things we've done. So their pay-per-view model gives us these matches, which guarantees there's something that's going to be special with every pay-per-view. And it's not just match, which is good. And I think some of the things they've been doing without the backstage stuff, right? One of the things I really think was very important is that WWE has been forced to be creative in a number of cases with having to try to recreate things within their own performance center to keep things interesting and fresh. And I think they really have been trying that a lot. When you think about, the Jeff Hardy DUI, I think that was different. Something different, right? Seeing Viking Raiders and Street Profits, who's better than me, that's better. And that's not bad. I can appreciate that. And there's other things they've been doing that are different, right? So, I can appreciate what they've been doing to kind of change the course of how things have been going on. Because I think some of the changes that have gone on here and some of the things that WWE has done, where they are not just shooting stuff on the fly with a couple of hours to go in the arena, that feeling has been pretty good. I must admit, I think they actually liked some of that. And I think it can be very effective if they don't have to have the crowd noise on every little thing that they do. I actually think that's good. and to not have to go ahead and put something together on site that they can pre-tape some stuff. I think the taping schedule has helped quite a bit for them too. I think that there's a couple of things in this experimental time for when things get back to normal, because I think we're going to get there. We're going to definitely get there. I might even think, listen, we already know that Vince McMahon wants to get crowds back. Are we going to get crowds back and they're going to start wearing masks again? I don't know. But AEW is already pushing the needle. They got a bunch of different fans in Jacksonville right now at Daly's Place for their shows. Like, it sounds like it's getting bigger every week. It sounded like they had a few hundred fans in there. It sounded like an NXT type crowd. Now NXT, not the kind of crowd, but I'm just saying you definitely had a crowd that you could hear going on in the matches, which felt really good. You didn't see them in the backdrop, like physically, but you could hear them. And they weren't that close to the ring, but at least they were there. That was pretty good too. So, with WWE trying to go and have the masks, the plexiglass, I think the plexiglass has been a red flag. I don't think it's been good. I don't think we needed that. The plexiglass was, and I don't think it gets used enough. That was the other problem. At first, when I saw it, I was like, okay, that's not bad. But if you're going to use the plexiglass, you got to use that. You got to use that a lot. But if you're not going to do that, then there's something wrong. It's like you're not using it enough. And maybe it's just the way I have it. I mean, they do use it, but not as much as they could. And it takes away from the match. Like, there's a couple of things you can't do. You can't roll around, which I guess they're not going to do because of COVID. And, there's a couple of pauses I can take away overall that they've been doing leading up to things, which is not bad. And, the cinematic stuff is good. As for Impact Wrestling, I'm going to talk about them a little bit. They're doing the same thing. They're also trying to change things up and be outside of the arena. Because obviously, if they're not going to be in, they're going to have no crowd to work off of. So they're only going to have the crowd no crowd during matches. Fine. But Impact Wrestling is a busy show. Like, one of the things they definitely do is they have segments where they're always doing things backstage, and there's certain segments that are pretty consistent, and I like the consistency. I will say this too. We've had some changes in the lineup of people coming on doing commentary for some of these shows. For WWE right now, it's back to normal. I'll see Samoa Joe back on commentary, contributing to Raw. That's good with Tom Phillips. That's good. And then having Cole working with Corey Graves, sure. And then I have enjoyed some of the change up in AEW where I hear Chris Jericho coming out and doing commentary for an extended period, or Taz, or whoever it is, that they've worked around what they've been doing for a while. Excalibur wasn't there, so JR had to go and do the commentary, and JR was doing it with Cody, and that was really good. I like the change up. Little change up, a little bit of freshening up, and just a little bit of variety is good. Impact Wrestling, Don Callis has not been around since last tapings. Madison Rayne and Josh Matthews, they're a couple, and they're together, and so they're doing it. And you can see Josh Matthews, Madison Rayne, they're working on it. They're doing the matches. Obviously, it sounds like Josh and Madison are doing the commentary from home. You could hear it's being recorded in. So they taped it beforehand, got all the matches done, and they're taking care of it. And listen, it's working good. I think Madison Rayne's pretty good on commentary. I've enjoyed her on commentary, very much so. I like what she's been doing. I like her locker room talk stuff. It's not been bad. I like the Rosemary at the bar kind of stuff. I've enjoyed that too. Going into the other level, whatever it's called now. Not Inner Sanctum. I can't remember what it was called. It's like it's another world, another dimension, if you will. Having that going on, her and Johnny Bravo and Taya Valkyrie in the mix. I like all that stuff going on. Sami Callihan finally get to do the hacker gimmick that he'd been meaning to do, which was done incorrectly in NXT. That's good. I like that. And, I actually do like, when it comes to Impact Wrestling, even though we're not going to have Tessa Blanchard defend and drop the world title, which I think eventually was going to happen, Slammiversary, brand new champion going to be out, world champion. But they did a couple of things that were pretty creative. When they didn't have Tessa Blanchard to come back out and defend the title, I really enjoyed Moose finding the TNA Championship at the what is it, the Brawl, the Bowery, what was it called? Oh, what was that called? I forget. Brewery, that's what it was. That's what I thought it was. Okay. So, Moose getting the belt at Bash of the Brewery and running with that gimmick and taking on former TNA stars, I think is great. I think it's a great move for Moose. It's a good thing to have him do something different. Gives him something in his gimmick, so he's not just being boring. And I like some of that. And I do like Ken Shamrock coming back and is working pretty tough. Like what he's been doing out there as well. And I'm very interested in Ace Austin now taking on Madman Fulton. So basically OVE has been split. The Chris brothers are no longer around because we know Jake Chris got caught up in speaking out. I don't know what happens to Dave Chris. Madman Fulton, Sami Callihan broke up OVE. And now Madman Fulton was without anybody. He's now the heavy for Ace Austin. And I'll tell you, I got to say something. Ace Austin he's moved up very nicely in this company. I don't know what it is. MLW had him as well. Ace Austin does have a good gimmick. He's a good heel. He's not MGF good, but he is quite good. I think they did a fantastic job with him, booking him with Eddie Edwards. The whole gimmick there, I actually really enjoyed that. I actually liked his match with Tessa Blanchard. I think I think he's good. I really enjoy his stuff. I like the stuff he did with Wentz and the Rascals. I like that. And Trey and Ace Austin, you got an instant feud right there. And to go after the title here is a very good spot for them. I really like that a lot. And, when you look at the rest of it, the rest of the show looks really good. Eddie Edwards also finally getting the title shot he should have had. The thing is, okay, originally, the Slammiversary match for the world title would have been Tessa Blanchard and it threw with Michael Elgin and Eddie Edwards, which would have been a really good match. But Michael Elgin, listen, caught up in speaking out. And same thing going for Tessa Blanchard, but not for speaking out, but just because she decided to just drop out. I don't know if this was going to be a contract or what, but again, we haven't heard from Tessa Blanchard what's going to happen to her. If she's going to get picked up by anybody else, I just don't know. I know we've heard the rumors that WWE might have been interested in her. That'd be an interesting move they did. Very controversial they did. But, man, there has to be some kind of promises here. Now, I will say one thing. If Tessa Blanchard does come into the company, then automatically we need her and Charlotte Flair in a feud. It just writes itself. It's a dream match that people wanted. When Tessa Blanchard was at her peak, I mean, really, her and Charlotte Flair, that's like WrestleMania match good right there. And that's a feud you can run for a long ass time. And there's a whole lot of background we could use. Unfortunately, you're not going to get Tully Blanchard out there to go ahead and help a company if Ric Flair is going to come out with Charlotte and do something like that. We're not going to get that again. But I think having Tessa Blanchard and Charlotte Flair together in the ring, we'll finally get that match. I'm all in. All ready for it. But now, in the shows that are coming up this weekend, I really, really enjoy what we're going to get. I really like, personally, I really love what's going on right now with Impact Wrestling. I thought they've been doing great work. With AEW and WWE getting most of the praise, Impact moving to go to Access TV and getting set up here with their show. I mean, I'll tell you what, because I remember it wasn't that long that Impact was on Pursuit, and that was a hard show to find because then Pursuit got dropped from my network, right? But I'll tell you, moving to Access TV was a good move for them, and ever since, it has worked out. I've really enjoyed what they've been doing so far. It's been very good. Impact Wrestling, I'm really happy to see that they've been able to keep going with what they have. And I'll tell you, They got a great, again, always with Impact Wrestling, they always got a good roster. However they're booked and however you like it, I really enjoy Impact Wrestling a lot. I look forward to it. Like I said, it's just a little tough for me to go and add that in to go ahead and watch other things. I've been, watching other shows, kind of keeping up. Call me crazy. I was binge watching Riverdale for about 2 months. I like the show. Shoot me, okay? I like Riverdale. And I think the girl playing Veronica Lodge, the brunette on that show, is Veronica. Oh, gorgeous. Whew. The reason I watched in the first place. Just saying. And now, what is it? In binge watching, I moved on to Big Dogs on Amazon, short series. I'm now starting on Orphan Black because Tatiana Maslany is now on the new Perry Mason series on HBO I've been watching. I actually enjoy that a lot. But I wanted to see Orphan Black. I wanted to check it out for myself. I heard it was great. So now I'm getting into it. And I'll be happy to share what I think about it afterwards. I've got 5 seasons to watch, so I'm looking forward to it. Amazon Prime is great. If you don't have it, get yourself a Prime account. Seriously. You can now do profiles on Amazon Prime. You got to get Prime Video. Go ahead and go to Amazon Prime. Get yourself an account. Get yourself a Fire Stick like I do. Throw on the Bluetooth, because I got some nice BeatX Bluetooth earbuds. Throw those on so I can watch movies. I can watch Orphan Black. Sounds great. Looks great on my TV. Ultra HD. And let me tell you, man, Amazon sets it up. KingofAmazon.com. Go order it. Enjoy yourself. Cut the cord. Go get Amazon. Amazon got great shows. Go check it out for yourself. And I know Bosch is a great show, too. I just haven't had a chance to watch the whole thing, but my family have all watched Bosch. They love that show. Love it. Like crazy. So let's move along and preview predict Impact Wrestling Slammiversary coming up this weekend. I love some of the characters they have on this show. It's really good. Now, so I've already talked about Ace Austin. Eddie Edwards, I have liked the evolution of this character. Because I know people were really complaining about the fact that, look, he went with a kendo stick and he was really getting overly crazy. So, yeah, listen, Eddie Edwards, he is the hardcore type wrestler. But he's still very good. And I think changing him from the American Wolves, the real, vanilla character he was, with the Wolves coming into the TNA with Davey Richards. Do we ever hear from Davey Richards anymore? Just saying, I see him in a different level. And he was also a former champion in TNA. And he's still a credible guy. And I feel like Eddie Edwards, and I really feel like the Impact Wrestling under Don Callis and Scott D'Amore and the types there, the Anthem crew have done a good job with making Eddie Edwards a very interesting character. He's a good character. He's a good wrestler. This guy's a good hand, period. I'm sure NXT would benefit Eddie Edwards, or an AEW would benefit from an Eddie Edwards, but they're doing well. And Edwards does a good job. He's good in this setup, and they've done a good job with him. I even thought the five match series with Michael Elgin was actually pretty good. But Eddie Edwards getting a chance here, I could easily see him being the champion here, taking that spot. Trey Miguel, though they haven't done a whole lot of splitting up the Rascals now, but the Rascals, I love the 70s show stuff. I mean, listen, they know they're copying from it, and that's okay. But I've really enjoyed it. I love when Moose keeps interrupting. I think that's great. Or when you see, TJP and Fallah Bahh together. I actually like that team together. That's been good. Actually, there's been quirky characters I've enjoyed. I actually like Johnny Swinger. And all the bullshit he's doing with Chris Bay and Willie Mack. I actually really enjoy that too. And I think some of that's really funny. It's good stuff. And of course, you mix in a little bit of ECW types. We haven't had RVD in a while. But we have had a Rhino. We have had Tommy Dreamer, right? So a few others in there. That's good. I can appreciate that. So that's all good. I can appreciate all that. Hernandez coming back. I actually been enjoying that a bit. He's winning the arm wrestling matches. I enjoy all that. It's a good mixture of players. And honestly, I like how they put together all of the Oh, the flashback segments are really good. And, they show some good stuff. I mean, you almost forget what's going on. It's good stuff. Altogether, that show is a very well done show. It's meaty. It's got a lot of stuff to watch. It's very action packed, very heavy on content. It's good, and they make 2 hours go by pretty quick. I must admit that. So in that World Championship, Ace Austin versus Eddie Edwards versus Trey Miguel. As for the fourth opponent, okay. They've done the promos about who will be coming into the company. We know for sure that Gallows and Anderson are now officially going to work with them and be able to work in New Japan, which is great for them. I don't know what they'll be able to do, Gallows and Anderson, and how they're going to be able to stand out in the tag team division. But I mean, listen, if those guys get to go after the North for the tag titles, I think that's a fantastic thing to do. I actually enjoy that a lot. I'll talk about the North in a minute. He has been considered, and that's like the odds on, I think, who will come back and be in this match. I like to see EC3 here. I don't think that the fourth person in this match, could they put a woman in? No, I don't think so. I mean, they could. They could definitely pull a thing on us and say that. I mean, at the moment, well, I already know Taya Valkyrie is already set up for the Knockouts title, so like, there's no woman that's going to be in this match. But I mean, for this particular World Championship match, I can see EC3 coming back. I don't know who they're going to have him take on if that's the case, but they could set him up with one of the other competitors into a feud right after that. And with the way EC3 is being positioned right now outside of NXT or WWE itself, I really enjoy what he's gotten jacked, and it looks like he definitely wants to evolve the EC3 character into another level. So no more top 1%, no more Dixie's, nephew. I think he wants to definitely move along that character. So I'm looking forward to seeing, and obviously chip on his shoulder. He wants to move it forward. So I like all that. And I hope he does. I really hope he gets a chance here. It'd be nice to see him here. I don't know if AEW would pick him up, but I really like if it would be EC3. Either which way, Ace Austin was former X Division champion not too long ago. X Division moving up into the main division. Now, I'm going to throw another name out there. No, they're never going to have Austin Aries back. It's too bad, but Austin Aries, I think, is out off the reservation altogether. I mean, I don't remember seeing him after MLW except for one appearance, I think it was, or a couple. That's about it. So we don't know. But for me, I think Ace Austin wins the world title. I think they're going to crown him world champion. With Madman Fulton at ringside, yes. I think Ace Austin is set for that. If it's not, it's Eddie Edwards, but I'm going to take Ace Austin to become your new Impact World Champion. I think that's going to be the case. Now, another person that got brought into the mix in Impact Wrestling, which is quite an interesting pickup, was because the virtuosa, Deonna Purrazzo, she was one of the people that were cut in March by WWE. And Deonna Purrazzo was, listen, she's been around a lot of different organizations, and she's got clout. And I think she's been made ready. She's gotten herself ready to get here. And it's a great story that they got to tell about her 2 weeks ago on Impact about how she was first here. What was it? The Knockouts Knockout. One of those one-night only pay-per-views that TNA did. And she had come out at 19 years old. So she did get a shot in Impact Wrestling against Brooke Tessmark. I remember seeing about the match. And I'll tell you, that was good to see that. And to see that she's moved herself up and she's honed her skill. And they did, I mean, listen, for somebody to come in, would she have gotten the chance to go ahead and take on, Rhea Ripley or Io Shirai now as champion in NXT, or Shayna Baszler for that matter? Would she have gotten the opportunity she got now to go ahead and challenge Jordynne Grace right away for the Knockouts title? You tell me. But Deonna Purrazzo is getting the chance. She's getting the ball. And she could very well win this match on Saturday. Very well. But I think Jordynne Grace gets the win. I think it's too soon, but I think you could let that feud could go. I think Jordynne Grace gets the win. She just got that belt, and I think you keep the belt on her there. Other great match, X Division title. I'll tell you, another person they brought on board at Impact Wrestling, was it at the end of last year or this year? Chris Bay, who I also saw, wasn't he NMLW? Yes. Chris Bay's fantastic. And he just fits in the line of X Division stars. I mean, he's cutting the mold of the X Division stars of old. I mean, he does have like that, feeling like how Elix Skipper or Jay Lethal and others that have been around, that really fits the part. You know, Chris Bay's good. Willie Mack is very good. And, I mean, dare I say, Willie Mack, don't get me, I mean, he's not the best promo in the world, but I don't know if they're going to have him and Rich Swann team back up together when they get back together. Because Rich Swann, I guess, is still injured. I don't know if it's that or COVID. But I could just see where Willie Mack, I think they want to make him a future champ. Not just X Division. I mean, X Division right now, being X Division champion, is a great thing for him right now, based on what he's done. Because he has gotten some good praise. Listen, we loved him in Lucha Underground. Okay? He was great. To see him in Impact is a very, very wonderful thing. It's good to see Willie Mack. I like him. He's agile. He's just a hell of a wrestler. And, you know, Impact is not afraid to go and have certain body types. Impact is not afraid to go and have certain body types. And look at Triple XL. I mean, Ring of Honor the same way, right? So, I like that here. And, same thing for MLW. We can say that too, right? So, Willie Mack and Chris Bay is going to be a hell of a match. I think that's going to be a match that's going to be right up with the rest. There's a lot of good matches in this pay-per-view. A lot of good matches being built up as well. Now, Willie Mack, Chris Bay was kind of built up as the latest build-up of matches, but I like it. The Johnny Swinger thing we brought into play, I like that too. I think Chris Bay wins the X Division title. I think Chris Bay will take it. Because I think Willie Mack needs to be elevated up to the world title or tag team titles and Rich Swann comes back. Because I don't know if Willie Mack is set to go and stay with the belt. I just think that, I mean, you could keep him there, but I think Willie Mack could be elevated to some feature feuds up towards the upper mid card. This is upper mid card for him right now, but I think you could push him closer to main event. I think Willie Mack is that good. I like him as a wrestler. He's good. I also like the stuff he did with the Deaners this week. I actually kind of enjoyed that. So you can see there's some range with Willie Mack. He's not the best promo in the world, obviously. That's his issue. But I think with him, the stuff he's done with Swinger was good. The stuff he did with the Deaners was very good. I've enjoyed it. I mean, it's good stuff. I like it. Now, one of the teams I've really enjoyed a lot, and it's no doubt that Impact Wrestling makes these people look like stars, the North. The North is very good. They are made and positioned to be dominating. And I really like this Josh Alexander and Ethan Page together. Even separately, I think you can split them up and they're going to be very good. North is very good. I didn't like so much when they had to do what was that arena they had up in Canada? I forget what it's called. The Don something or other. So, they were doing like squash matches and they were kind of playing along with that. And then they fought the Deaners. Okay, giving us something to do. But this quick feud they put together with Sami Callihan and Ken Shamrock was very good. But this gives them a good match to have. I still think North, and by the way, North, what is it? They've already been a full year tag team champions. I don't think they dropped those belts now. I think they're going to have a lot of different tag teams to go up against. North will have Gallows and Anderson. North will have, I think Swann and Mack will be together again. And I think there's some other things you'll have. I think you'll have some other teams to work off of. So North will have new opponents. I think that's what's going to happen down the line. TNA Championship on the line. Moose defends against Tommy Dreamer. I don't know how long they're going to go with this match, but even with Tommy Dreamer getting into this match with Moose, because the thing is, for Moose, it's another match, and it's just building him up. And personally, I think after Willie Mack drops the X Division title, I think Willie Mack should go after Moose. Willie Mack and Moose at each other for the TNA Championship. I love that. I love to see that go there. And there's other people you could, I mean, listen, you want to make that, there was never a problem with TNA always having that championship in the first place where the TNA title, it's looked at as a Legends title, right? It's looked at as like a TV title now, right? Because Moose is defending it every week. I hope they keep the title around. I actually enjoy it. I think the belt looks great. I like them to go and keep the belt. I like to keep that gimmick going. I like to keep Moose keeping it around. I think that secondary title means something. Now, I know it's not going to mean so much as the X Division title. I think the X Division title means a lot. And Willie Mack holding that title means a lot there. I mean, Ace Austin holding that belt. Listen, X Division title means something. There's prestige to those belts. To all the belts, as a matter of fact. And I feel like Moose has brought prestige to the TNA title. Call me crazy. But I think Moose wins the TNA title. He retains. Even though he's really not the champ. But again, making him champion, just like building it up, I actually like that a lot. Who gives a shit? And then you have the Impact Knockouts Championship #1 Contender Gauntlet match. Look, everybody wants to go and talk about how good the women's division is in WWE and NXT, right? And then AEW has a number of stars as well. I'm going to say this. When you look at the overall role of where WWE is right now, there's a nucleus of stars that really stand out above the pack. Okay. There's no question Shayna Baszler, and this is in no particular order. Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, Bayley, Io Shirai. I think a lot of the women in the NXT roster are fantastic. Tegan Nox is very good. Dakota Kai is pretty good. Rhea Ripley, of course. Asuka, Kairi Sane. There's a lot of good women's wrestlers. For my own sake, I will say WWE does have the best women's wrestling right now. They have the best roster of women's wrestlers. I don't think there's much argument there. AEW is building a roster of stars. But then again, there's a roster of stars I like. Are they necessarily very super talented and going to barn burn and going to be ring generals? No. But I like the characters of a lot of the women's wrestlers they have. Like, okay, Nyla Rose getting paired up with Vicky Guerrero, love it. Because I like the Nyla Rose character. I think she's got much better since the beginning. Way better. I think Hikaru Shida is an awesome champion. I like Penelope Ford. She had a really good match with Shida not too long ago. I love Britt Baker. I'm sure Britt Baker might not be the best wrestler in the world, but she's got a great gimmick. The role model gimmick, and even without being able to work matches right now, she's awesome. Or whatever, or having an excuse not to wrestle, right? Awesome. And then I think about, there's a lot of other wrestlers they have, they're always bringing in new stars too. So they're working on it. And some of the Yoshi wrestlers they bring on board, like Riho and things like that, they're good. But they are working on it. Women's division is a work in progress, but it's getting better. I believe it's getting better. But I think the second best women's division right now in wrestling on television now is Impact. Impact's got a great roster. And seriously, I can't say that, I'd like to try to compare NXT's women's roster to the Impact roster because it's damn good. Look. And this is without Tessa Blanchard on the roster now. Taya Valkyrie is as good as anybody. I love her. Great character, good heel character. The Johnny Bravo stuff is funny. I think she's fantastic. She's great in the ring. And listen, she worked around the world. Kiera Hogan is really good. I like her character too. Her and Tasha Steelz together. I like them to kind of build up. I like that. Susie or Su Yung, I think that dynamic's been fantastic. The Su Yung character is pretty cool. And to have the flipping character between her and Susie has been really good. Rosemary is great. Rosemary is just a vet. I mean, from day one, she was just so different and has just continued to evolve. Rosemary is it's a cool character. And so to let her do whatever she wants is good. I actually really like it a lot. Rosemary's great. Now, Havok and Nevaeh, I'm still working my way to there. It's interesting. Tasha Steelz is good from NWA. She's working her way up there. Kylie Ray also in that same vein. A couple of younger stars that are just working their way up. Obviously been around the independent circuit for a long time, but again, they're good hands. They're not going to botch up all over the ring. Alisha Edwards, Kimber Lee, who's also been brought in new to the mix, and Madison Rain. And that's an interesting setup. Listen, she can't be that bad. I think it should probably be quick. But again, this is not like a Divas match. They're all pretty skilled wrestlers here. So all that right there is good. Now, as for that match, that's tough to say who wouldn't be number one contender. So who hasn't Jordynne Grace taken on yet? Because I don't think that Deonna Purrazzo wins here. I'm going to say, if I had to go ahead and pick right now, geez, it's going to be tough. I think, she's taking on Kiera Hogan. And, God, this is a tough pick right here. I'm going to just say, I'm going to go out there on a limb. I'm going to say Kimber Lee is the person that wins the Gauntlet match. I don't know. I think they got something with her. They want to build her up. I'm going to guess that. But if I had to pick who I wanted to win, I'm going to be a Taya Valkyrie fan. I'm going to say I want her to win. Because that's arguably my favorite women's wrestler and on the Impact roster. She's the best. Rosemary right there. Neck and neck. Love them both. Just love their characters, love their work in the ring. It's good stuff. And they can work anywhere. I think Rosemary would be fit in a lot of different other organizations. I could see her in AEW. I could see her in WWE. Taya Valkyrie in the same vein. I could see that. Really good. So, again, Impact Wrestling, what they don't do, and I'll tell you, they've been consistent for, I want to say, a couple of years now. They've been very consistent on pay-per-view. They've been very consistent. The Slammiversaries, the Rebellions, Hard to Kill. I praise these pay-per-views. They're always A-, B pay-per-views. They're fantastic. They do a really good job. Their pay-per-views are very tight. They're good pay-per-views. We don't have a lot of botchy matches. I know that the likes of Sunday Night's Main Event, which, by the way, I haven't gone listening to other pay-per-view recaps of other shows. Like, I don't know about you, but it's been tough for me to go listen to other podcasters across the board listening about what's going on because I think there's something missing. I don't know. I've cut down the amount of podcasts I listen to. I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube, but then I also know a lot of the wrestling podcasters. My brethren are doing a lot of video stuff. So Don Tony's been doing stuff. Solo Monster's doing stuff. Of course, JD from NY. I just haven't watched a lot of wrestling, or watch or listen to a lot of wrestling podcasts because there's not much to say, right? So you pick your shows and you go ahead and listen to what you want to listen to. That's just for me right now because, when there's only so much that can be said during the pandemic, I just think I'll get my appetite for wrestling podcasts back up again. So, what I have been doing is been following everybody on Twitter and Facebook and things like that so I can keep up with what's going on. But that's been all I've been doing so far. Okay, let's move along into Extreme Rules. That's on Sunday night. Now, still going to be a pretty good pay-per-view. I am interested in what they have to do with the card. For what it's worth, the pay-per-view doesn't feel throwaway. I think the gimmicks of the horror show and things like that, where you had the greatest show, the greatest wrestling match ever, was a nice little spin for Backlash last month. And for Extreme Rules to have the horror show, I think that's also been it's a good thing to add. Like, I actually like that they've been kind of branding some of these pay-per-views so they're not just other shows, just to be what they are. Because here's the thing. For Extreme Rules, correct me if I'm wrong, are any of these matches under Extreme Rules? Do we have Extreme Rules type matches? We don't have any ladder matches. We don't have any, tables matches, right? Notice we don't have any of that right now. This Extreme Rules is going to be different than what we normally have. Looks like we're just getting straight matches, but a couple of these matches are going to be very extreme. Like, I think the real extreme match will be eye for an eye. How they're going to pull that off, I don't know. But think about it. I mean, we did have, some real Extreme Rules type matches when we had Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens face each other at WrestleMania. That was very interesting. But think about it. I mean, it's not as the extreme match like we normally would see, which is good. It's refreshing, as a matter of fact. So Extreme Rules, it doesn't really mean anything, but I think just calling it the Extreme Rules the horror show, I actually really enjoy that. And I think the fact they don't have to do it in front of a live crowd, they can kind of change up what the pay-per-views can be to make them more appealing. I think that's a good thing. I think it's smart. So this Sunday, start off with the U.S. title, Apollo Crews versus MVP. We've had this story going along for a while. It's unfortunate Bobby Lashley's not going to be in a match at this pay-per-view. Maybe we'll get him somewhere. I don't know, but I would like to see that happen. But Apollo Crews will win. I don't see why they take the belt off of him now. Eye for an eye, Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio. So I don't know what this is going to be. I have no clue what they're going to do with this. If this is going to be a tape match and they're going to put something together very cinematic, I don't know. I think Seth Rollins will be the one screaming to have his eye getting put out, and he'll be the one with the eye patch. I think Seth Rollins is the one that gets the eye patch. Personally think that. Could you imagine Seth Rollins going, ah? Imagine him yelling as his eyes getting poked out. I think that's who's going to get it. And if anybody's supposed to go and get the comeuppance, they should have Rey Mysterio get his comeuppance after all that has been done to him. He should be the one getting Seth Rollins taken down. However that happens. So I think Rey Mysterio wins the match. Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt in a Wyatt swamp fight. So interesting, they had to go ahead and rerun Strowman and Wyatt from Backlash because they just had to fill time on SmackDown, along with another episode of SmackDown where they had to go and fill it with Undertaker. They'll bring that match back to kind of refocus the fact that Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt have this together. And see Bray Wyatt as the old Bray Wyatt is good. I'm curious what to do with the swamp fight. So that's cinematic. I could see that being the last match of the night. Now, there's nothing said here that is for the Universal title. You notice that. I believe it's just a fight. So I don't think the Universal title's on the line. So Bray Wyatt could win this match. And I think he should. I have no clue what they're going to do with this match. But I like it. And I hope they're going to do it with that. SmackDown Women's title, Bayley versus Nikki Cross. I don't like Nikki Cross anymore. She is so far removed from sanity, and I think they've lost her way with her and Elizabeth. I don't like it at all. I don't see how those two have still been together. I'm surprised they've not split up. But they don't want to make Elizabeth a heel. Or I don't know what they would do. Because right now, Bayley and Sasha Banks are the heels, and they fit really well. Listen, the golden role models. Listen, it works. Bayley's doing very well as a heel. I've enjoyed her as a heel. She's good. Sasha Banks working along. They don't like to go and split people up right away. They're not doing it at all. But Bayley should be quick working Nikki Cross. But for all I know, they'll make Nikki Cross win the title. I don't know if they should. I'm still going with Bayley winning the title and retaining. Asuka versus Sasha Banks. No women's tag team titles on the line. I think Asuka drops the belt to Sasha. and Bayley and Sasha roll with 4 belts. I think that's what they're going to do. I really do. And then I think Asuka tries to work on trying to go after them again. And you can do a lot of different things, I guess, where if Sasha and Bayley, they're already going to put them on both shows, then you have a reason for both of them to be on. Then you can have Kabuki Warriors go after tag titles, or you can have Asuka or Kairi Sane going after Sasha Banks or Bayley. And let those 4 work together. And that's fine. They can do that. And Drew McIntyre against Dolph Ziggler. I mean, Dolph Ziggler will do a good match, obviously. He's not winning that belt. This is just another match. It's a match of the month for Drew McIntyre. And Drew McIntyre should make quick work of Dolph Ziggler. That's all there is to it. I don't see why there will be any other way it could work out. Well, there you go. We're going to leave it there. I will be doing post shows this Saturday night, the Sunday night for Slammiversary and Extreme Rules, and I hope you will come back and listen to both of those. And of course, find it wherever you find the podcast. Make sure if you haven't gone to Apple Podcast, if you do listen to the show from there, please rate and review. Make sure to add a review in there. Put a big 5-star rating in there so that more people can catch the show and then more people can feedback. And I could do less plugging for my PayPal and for KingdomWithAmazon.com and for the cryptocurrency and all that good stuff. I don't have to go looking around for other support. And obviously, do subscribe to my YouTube channel. All my content's there. Broadcasters Podcast, When I'm Not Podcasting, and this show. You can listen to it on YouTube, watch it. It's great. And on the When I'm Not Podcasting, it's also a video series. So if you want to see yours truly in the puss doing the show and putting out visuals, you can actually watch it. And I hope you'll consider youtube.com/JBRASCO951. Please let me know that you have subscribed, and I'll shout you out on the show. I'll shout you out on When I'm Not Podcasting. So join me this weekend for 2 back-to-back nights of wrestling pay-per-views. We'll do post shows for both Extreme Rules and Slammiversary this weekend, Saturday and Sunday night. So come back then for another Wrestling is Real podcast, because wrestling needs us.
Thank you for listening to the Wrestling is Real podcast, brought to you by KingofAmazon.com. For more information on how to subscribe to the show, how to share the Wrestling is Real podcast to listeners like you, and check out the latest wrestling headlines, go to WrestlingIsReal.com. That's WrestlingIsReal.com.